Hello, my name is Kiana Clark, and I was referred to you by the legal line as a family attorney. I need a protection order and assistance with the custody
You
case.
have the wrong place. Who is it? Kanaya? Hold on. Yeah, because I don't do the intakes.
I was referred to call you already. I don't know. You didn't look up my information to know if you have a case or not? Do you have all of them memorized?
But who are you?
Right, but you said that's the odd
The
thing.
thing
You
is,
said
I
that
don't do
you don't
family
do the
law. I
intakes.
don't do family law. I do
It's you're disregarding the fact that you're not supposed to know who I am, and you said you can't do it and don't even know who you're on the phone with.
Okay, I'm not going to talk to you. If you're going to be rude, I don't
I
want to
get
talk to
gaslit
you.
all the time. This is part of the psychological abuse I have to endure. It's not my fault that you haven't looked up anything. She hung up. They hang up when they get caught in lies. Now they're not going to answer. Okay. That's the number that they gave me. Yes, ma'am. You're not treating. I'm sure this lawyer would not like you treating clients like that.
Okay, first of all, I need to find out who are you.
I know. Before you tell me you can't
And I
help.
need to know, because these are family law. Like, this is not the intake line. We don't do intake.
Well, I've
I
already
work with
been.
an attorney.
I've been already communicated. I tried to communicate, but you were talking while I was talking that I was told that she was the attorney for me and to call this
Okay,
number.
what is your name? So I can look up if you have a case with it. Because your name does not sound familiar unless it was barely referred. What's your name?
We got disconnected earlier. That was rude. I've had to endure that years. It's,
You're not being very respectful to me either.
I'm
And
sorry?
it's not right. You're not being respectful to me either.
This is psychologically abusive, ma'am. I experience this all the time on phone calls. And I mean, I just get punished everywhere
Okay.
for people misconduct. Can I give you
I
my
know, but
information, ma'am? I have to be treated like trash.
you can't be talking to people like that. You know, that's
Yeah,
disrespectful
I
to
have
me.
it. I let it upset me, ma'am, but there's nothing I can do. No charges have been rendered.
Okay,
Do you
what
want
is
my
your
name,
name?
ma'am?
So I can look up to see. What is your name? So I can look up to see if you have a case here
Okay.
with attorney anymore.
Yeah, the attorney that I was trying to pay said, yeah, that's why you're getting targeted. But I mean, no felonies haven't been rendered for any of this chaos.
Okay, it says here that is it for an expungement, non-disclosure?
Yes, but they were trying to cover for the incident where I have a misdemeanor and they put it on my record as a felony, and that's something that's vital,
Okay,
But
it looks like here that the attorney is investigating, and she has to talk to you. I'll have because I'm meeting with her today.
why
So I
hasn't
can
she
have her
called?
call you today.
Is there a particular reason why
She
she
has
hasn't called if she's had it since November?
well, I think because we're getting at least 10, 15 cases per week, and it takes her at least 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to get back because she has to investigate it.
I
She
guess I'm
can't
not
be like
being heard. I'm not being
aggressive.
heard, ma'am, for 6 years. If she's had it since November, is there a particular reason why she hasn't called? Because I get violated all over and nothing's repetitively done.
It says here that your case was sent to us on February 7th, 2024.
It
That's
says
what
that,
I have.
ma'am. I
Yeah.
just lies all over. I just can't figure it out. Maybe if some law enforcement was rendered, maybe they could figure it out. Okay, so she's had it, and to my knowledge, it's been ever since November. That's when they told me they were sending it over, and then there's con, and so I can't do anything about the custody issue that was done out of corruption.
The
So
only thing
she's
I
not a
got
family
here
law
is
attorney.
expungement. No, we are expungement, non-disclosure, and also for trafficking.
Okay,
That's
well,
far.
okay, well then that's good because I was in jail on false charges. They gave me a ticket for trying to report abuse and how I was interference with child custody crimes. So they gave me a ticket and I was in jail on false charges. And I couldn't pay the ticket in jail on false charges, and I don't know what they did with the ticket. So that would be wonderful, but I hope I get the services because people retract on
Yeah, well,
services.
she's gonna have to call you because she is the attorney. And as far as says here, you don't have eligible charges, but she needs to talk to you to do more
Eligible
investigation.
charge? There's so many catch 22s. I don't have eligible charges.
No, just wait for the attorney to call you.
Oh, okay,
I
because
can
what there is just so many schemes, ma'am, that you would have to see to believe. because someone has
I have
already paid for this and he
what
gets his money's worth, so they scheme
you
so I
want
don't
to
get
do
the
your
services.
investigation.
That's what I'm
Okay,
trying to
I'm gonna
show.
have you talk to my manager. Is that okay? I'm gonna
Your
have her
manager?
call you.
Oh, you okay, I'm sorry, ma'am. What is happening?
I'm gonna go ahead and have her talk to you.
Okay,
Okay?
but you say that there's
Okay.
tickets, ma'am.
I'm gonna
I
have her
can't get an
call you back.
understanding anywhere I call. This is
You're
psychologically
not
abusive.
you're not listening. You're not listening.
I
You're
get
not
gaslit,
telling me that
ma'am.
now we just
Spoofing
got
calls
the
is a
case.
felony and very hard to prove that it's happening because it's hard. People don't know about it. That's why identity theft is on the rise, ma'am. But if I could speak and not repetitively get treated like this for 6 more years, am I able to speak?
The thing is that the right person to talk to is the attorney.
But I'm not able
I
to
don't
speak. I
know
have a
what
question on what you just said.
the person that as far as the investigation for your background, whatever criminal charges or whatnot, it has to be the attorney. She knows the law. Okay, I cannot tell you, okay, this is expungement. It
Yeah,
has to
yeah,
be
I
the
can't do anything about it. Just like you
you
told me
don't
that you didn't
mind that
know
let me
at the
talk
beginning of the
with
call
her.
and you didn't have my name yet.
I'm her paralegal. We don't have that kind of training. I'm not a
I
lawyer.
just was trying to clarify, get
So
clarity on what you said, and you don't want me to
yeah,
get it. I
I'm
don't
your
have rights,
person.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am, I don't have rights.
Okay,
No
thank
one has
you.
checked into these felonies, forcing me to speak with scammers. 95% of my calls aren't returned. I don't get my mail. All kind of other felonies, just unaddressed, nothing repetitively done. Forced to
Just
speak
wait
to
for
con
the
artists
attorney to call you
that
back.
have already defrauded me out of
Okay,
funds.
okay,
If you
have a good
don't
day.
care about me, do you care about yourself getting robbed in
Thank
identity
you.
theft? Do you care about your
Thank you, ma'am.
relatives? This is something
Thank
that's
you.
amiss with these calls. You can see it. Call to
Thank you,
call to
ma'am.
call, the same behavior. Why hasn't she hung up? She hung up when I was catching her in a lie. She didn't know my name and told me already that she was basically they couldn't help and didn't have
Now
my
I
name
understand
yet.
you are talking, and I'm here listening to you. But like I said, the attorney has to call you back.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay? Let her call you back so she can go with
I
you
don't
with all the
understand why
charges.
she had it since November. How it came up that she just got it in February, and they
It was
told me that
too
she,
hard to us.
my
I
ma'am,
said
by
that
I
we
let you
need
guys upset me.
our
That's the
managing
point.
attorney.
That's your main
Okay?
objective. Okay, bye. My fellow, you there?
Yes, I'm
Uh,
here.
Okay. What number did I call?
This is Dunaway.
What number?
What do you mean, what number?
You don't know what your phone number is?
The number is 817-335-1121.
Okay. I just weird things come up in my phone. It says JPS, and then it came up as a law firm. I'm just trying to establish a pattern that might something impossible that people wouldn't know happens. That someone can control searches, and then they buy time to set up counterfeit calls. I'm just trying to establish something like that. That's an amazing situation. So you would have to supply evidence of it. So my phone says JPS Hospital top ranked, and now but I've called the law firm.
No, this is Dunaway. It's a engineering company.
Okay. They just, oh, I'm sorry, my phone was malfunctioning. They need time to set up counterfeit calls because it says that JPS ranked as top hospital in the country, and it didn't pull up my search results. But this is a pattern that I've had to endure years. So let me keep trying.
Okay, ma'am.
Now they can counterfeit the call, knowing full blown, well, you never, ever, ever believe my story. It's not giving me the number. I've put it in multiple times. JPS Hospital. I've added JPS Hospital Fort Worth. It's bringing up YouTube videos. That's it. Years of this. So this is what I was afraid to tell people because it just is not realistic. And there's a major percentage that I still can't tell you because you would for sure think that I was fibbing and not telling the truth. There's a lot of things I experienced that are not realistic. They have to get a lot prepared because these social workers weren't helping, and they're holding up the call. They let me pull it up. Now they're prepared. The call ended. It said one moment and then hung up. Why would I lie? There it is right there. Now they're making it malfunction
For
to
patient
hold up the call.
accounting and billing, press 4. For directions to the
0
JPS
to
Health
4
Network
operator.
main campus and John Peter Smith Hospital, press 5. For information on emergency room patients, press 6. For patient location information and all others, press 0.
It's malfunctioning. They do this all the time.
1 moment, please.
So I think it transferred on its own automatically.
The JPS Health Network. Your call is very important to us. Please hold for the next available operator.
My upload is being held up. They've held them up for days, and some things they wouldn't even let me upload, period.
And we will answer your call as soon as possible.
So the purpose of me doing this is I'm trying to establish a pattern that this is deliberate and procedural for these phone calls. So hopefully soon it will end. This isn't just today. It's not just this week, not just this month, but years of this. It's impossible for me to get any assistance calling on my phone. It's deliberate.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience.
Not only that, environments are controlled in person. So they make it impossible to get any relief from the abuse that I'm in.
JPS Health Network, this is Jennifer. How may I help you?
Yes, do you have the number for the social workers?
Hold on 1 second. Let me get you over there.
Okay.
Management Department. You have reached our secure and confidential voice messaging
Of course,
system.
no. They don't
Please
return
speak
my calls.
clearly at a normal pace, and if the info within your voice
This is how the calls are controlled.
Please fax approvals. Deny.
You may say, these sound like real calls. Well, it would have to sound like a real call to defraud people out of money. Isn't that what identity theft ring would sound like real calls? Until you catch them and saying the same thing over and over, the same pattern of behavior over and over. Can't get defrauded out of money if it sounds fake. Yes, do you have a number for the case management where I can speak with a live person? Because I got transferred to a voicemail. I have questions. I wanted to do a complaint because case managers were assigned but wouldn't do case management. And then one said that they were going to mail me a letter with places that go by your income because they would lie to me over the phone. And I never got the letter. So I want to report misconduct by someone that was supposed to be my case manager for JPS. It was assigned.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That actually doesn't go through the case management department. That goes through patient relations.
Okay. Do you have the number? So patient relations is where I can find out who my case manager was and do a complaint on my case manager?
Yes.
Okay, what's the number to patient relations?
It is 817-702-1333.
Okay, and they will be able to inform me who my case manager was or is.
Yes, they will look into it. Actually, I may be able to tell you who the case manager was. What is your date of birth?
It is.
Social worker that you had the appointment with on the 29th of last month, right?
I don't know what you're speaking of. I had an appointment with the social worker?
Yes, on the 29th of last month.
Where at? How was I supposed to know about the appointment? This is a pattern, ma'am. It's impossible to get help if you don't know if you have an appointment.
Well, it says that you went into the clinic.
Okay, I went in the clinic for my appointment.
Yes.
Okay, so what date was that? Who did I speak with?
1 second.
Okay.
Munoz?
No, it was a woman that called me. I experience strange things like this all the time. It was a black woman. She was assigned to be my case manager, but wouldn't help me, period. She kept saying that she couldn't help with it, everything that I stated, and did absolutely nothing. So when I went in, she also called me and said that she was going to mail me the apartments that go by your income because they kept lying to me on the phone. They won't give it to me here. Someone is deliberately trying to keep me homeless, and I'm trying to obtain evidence because my story is really incredible and hard to believe. So no one around me wants me to have these lists for apartments that go by your income. even if it's their job to give it to me. MHMR didn't want me to have it. All these case managers. So I know, like I said, my story is incredible. So I just try to expose my experience. So how did it change to Sam? And it was a black woman.
No, Lisa McKinney, you spoke to on the phone on the 6th of February, but you came into the office on February the 29th and spoke with Sam.
Yeah, that's not an appointment, ma'am. I tried to get help and he wouldn't help. He gave me numbers to force me to call on my phone, and I get nothing resolved, but people start arguments. Out of now, nothing can be done in person. I'm trying to establish a pattern that someone knows I'm speaking with counterfeits, which is why they come to my providers and enforce crimes on them. Because if you're there in person, why would you have to call a location if you're already there?
Well, you would have to call the resource sheet that he gave you while you were here.
Well, no one else has to do that, ma'am. Social workers connect them with
Yes.
help. They
No,
do it in
no, we
person.
don't.
They help women get to domestic violence organizations and connect them with it. But for me, I have to call a resource list and never get the help for 6 years. That's what I'm trying to expose. So I'm confused on how my case manager got changed to Sam when it was a black woman that was playing games and denying me services. Say that she called me and say that she's there to help, and then when I tell her what I need help with, she could help with absolutely nothing. She has done absolutely nothing, haven't given me any referrals, call. It's actually psychologically abusive. Because when you get a call from someone saying they want to help and then you trust them and then they do nothing, then lied about sending me the list for apartments. I didn't even get that. So I'm just trying to show that these environments are controlled, including the one I'm staying at. She won't give it to me or any other program.
Okay, I think you're misunderstanding what JPS social workers do. All they do is provide you a list of resources. That is all they can do. If you were inpatient, they could help you get into a nursing facility if it was called for medically, or if you were here for behavioral reasons, they can get you into an inpatient facility for behavioral health reasons.
Well, when
But
I
we
was,
cannot put you
I'm
we
sorry.
cannot put you in a home. We cannot speak for you.
Okay, so I had, because I repetitively lied to, I read a book, and the book said that if you are dealing with an extreme amount of corruption and have a powerful abuser, then perhaps go to hospitals and get social workers there, because social workers, women come up beaten up and bruised, and the social workers at the hospital help them get in a safe environment. But I'm blatantly lied to repetitively, and that's what I'm trying to show a pattern of. I don't have that right. So I'm trying to show that someone's committing a felony charge of conspiring to violate my rights and keep me from services all over the place, which is a felony. So now it has completely changed in all my environments, and it's out of everyone's scope for 6 years, including the police department, FBI, CIA. And the problem someone of law enforcement and conspiracy is criminal. So, ma'am, what is the social worker's name?
We have nothing. We
What's
have
the
nothing
social
to do
worker's
with law
name? The
enforcement.
woman? You said Sam was my social worker, but the woman said she was my social worker and would do nothing.
No, ma'am. I
What's
did
the?
not say Sam was your social worker. I said Sam was the person that you came in and talked to
I
in
thought you said I
person.
had an appointment on the 29th.
Yes, when you walk in, they put the appointment down. So you walked in and you spoke to Sam at 3 p.m. on February the 29th.
I don't understand how that's relevant when I'm doing a complaint and I'm exposing that the woman that had
You
called me.
asked me a question.
I
I'm
don't
giving you
understand
an
why people
answer.
start arguments all over the place, ma'am. That's psychologically
I'm not
abusive to have to
arguing with
endure
you.
with that.
I'm literally telling you what you asked me for.
Okay,
You
so
asked
what
me
was
to
the woman's name? Is what I'm asking.
Miss McKinney.
Miss McKinney. Yes, I asked about Miss McKinney, and you told me about Sam. Okay,
Yes,
and
Sam
how
is
do
the
I
one you
contact
had the
her?
appointment with.
I
You
didn't have an
wouldn't be able
appointment.
to contact
Okay,
her because you don't have an appointment.
I'm sorry.
So
I
I
can't.
can transfer you to patient relations if you would like me to.
I asked for Miss McKinney's information. She's supposed to
I
be
gave you
my
Miss
assigned
McKinney.
caseworker.
Her name is Lisa McKinney. So now I can transfer you to patient
Ma'am,
relations
I'm
if you would
asking
like me
for
to.
her number. I'm asking for her number,
I don't
ma'am.
have her number, ma'am. So I can transfer you to patient relations.
Okay. So I'm trying to establish a pattern of someone that is railroading my life is controlling my phone and my environment.
For calling the office of the Patient and Family Experience. Para español, press Office of Patient and Family Experience. This is Leticia. How may I help you?
Yes. I'd like to ask some questions. I was in the hospital there, and they had multiple different hospitals stole property, and they had lost my credit card, and I kept reporting that it was a pattern, and I thought it was intentional. They also lost my clothes, and when I informed the patient relations party that that was a pattern in multiple different hospital stays for me to have stolen property,
Yes, ma'am.
I think the police department's behind it. So what? And then there were like 30 or 40 lies off in this documentation about my mental health experience at JPS. And I told them that I had multiple false arrests and been detained on false mental illness pretenses. They deprived me of social worker assistance and any kind of help in my experience. So I did complaints. I'd like to know what happened with that. Can I give you my name?
Yes, of course. What is your name?
It's Kiana. After I did the complaint on multiple, this happened as was a pattern at multiple different hospitals. They found my property. I just don't think that a civilian should be enlisted for thefts. But on one occasion, my clothes and new shoes were stolen. My name is. So I did all these complaints. It must have been like 30 or 40 because I experienced some abuse there, psychological abuse and other games. And she never did an investigation or never gave me the result to the investigation. I think it was like 3 months, I think she said, or 2 months.
Who was it that you spoke with?
I can't think of her name. Hopefully it's in the documentation.
Because our grievance process, it takes 28 business days.
Oh, they lied. Well, you have my name.
Yes, ma'am. So let me see. I'm double checking in our.
What's the patient relations person's name?
Oh, we have a whole team. I work with patient experiences or patient
The
relations
person
as well.
over at the manager?
Our manager, well, our team leader is going to be Antonia, and then if it went up to like our directors, that's Bailey Brown.
No, I don't recall any of those names.
Oh, okay.
But you have my name, and I definitely did a lot of complaints. Mistreatment, blatant lies. They gave me a shot when I reported the thefts, and then blatantly lied on the reason behind giving me a shot. They wanted me to punish me for exposing that I have thefts at a lot of hospitals, even jail stays. They don't give me my property and pretend like it's lost. So after I exposed that, they blatantly lied, and 4 or 5 people came up to me and lied and said I was creating a disturbance and gave me a shot. They also did it at Dallas Behavioral when they were insulting and violating me. So I'm just trying to expose a pattern of abuse I endured at multiple different environments, and I think it's intentional. So were you able to find any information on my name?
So I'm looking right now.
Okay. This was 2023. I had a stay from, I believe it was June to August, and they kept holding me. Each time I tried to get help in social work or assistance, they would punish me. And my therapists or psychologists would say that I needed to be there longer each time I did a complaint.
Okay, so I do see some here from June, July, and one from August. So you're needing to know what the decisions were on all of those, right? Because they should have mailed them out. But if you give me just a second.
I don't get my mail. I'm not being heard for years,
okay.
ma'am. Yeah, I know you didn't know, but I don't get my mail. It wasn't mailed to me.
Okay, and that may be a possibility. 1 second, let me. Do you have an email? Because we can probably email what the resolution letters were to you.
So you have cameras there, ma'am. When they detained me on those false pretenses and stole my clothes for me trying to get help at One Safe Place, I don't understand why no one helped. The police forced me to leave barefooted without my clothes to police and then put me in a toxic cab. So I don't understand why staff, and I did complaints on that, and complaints that people were trying to steal my credit card and clothes like they got away with at other locations.
Okay, so 1 moment.
And then why did they keep on putting me in put me in there saying I was a flight risk, and they put me in there with people who had assaulted people, and I was the only one that was getting violated. They had me in there with people who had assaults, all kind of crazy things, and they do this in jail. They put me under maximum security.
I really wouldn't know anything about that part, and I do apologize. So give me just 1 moment.
Oh, it doesn't say why I would need maximum security in the documentation, why they keep putting me and with people that have assaulted people, and I haven't.
For what the police do, no, I wouldn't know that.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
For what the police did,
Oh, so the police are
did
putting
that,
me in the high
I
risk
wouldn't know
environments.
that. I wouldn't know why they did that.
It doesn't
We don't
state why they had me in maximum security in the
know,
hospital. Okay.
because if you were under like police hold, I wouldn't know that because they deal with that. But give me just one
I
moment,
kept
okay?
telling them that the police were crooked and had been enlisted in my abuse, and they deprived me of speaking with a social worker and getting
Okay.
anything resolved or any help. The social workers would make appointments and then not keep them, like for a month. I kept trying to get an update. They were supposed to come out on one day and never came, and played games for over a month.
Right. Well, if you were under what they consider like police hold, we have no control over that.
Oh, so social
It's
workers can
illegal.
get your hopes up saying that they're coming and then
Well,
never show. The victim's advocate never showed. I had an
okay.
appointment with her and I never did get to see her. And the other people with security would come and all kind of crazy things when I tried to speak with the social worker, and people would blatantly lie on me. You have cameras.
Okay. Give me just one moment.
Okay. So it's a prearranged hamster wheel. I'm deliberately trying to incriminate people, and everyone I talk to on my job, they're part of the cover up. So you have to scam different avenues that you're going to cover for crimes for 6 years. They know that I'm recording, so if they can convince you that these calls are real, these people never get their felonies they've racked up.
We look forward to talking with you soon. Please.
So these people don't know this is a pattern of behavior. And when I kept reporting, I reported to them how many hospitals claimed and lied and said that my property came missing. Then they recovered it. They just thought that this would be an isolated incident and not a pattern of thefts that I experienced. So when they realized how many hospitals schemed to steal property, they said, "Okay, we found it." Not know, they just think that this is going to be the first time they steal property. Not that almost every hospital state is stealing some property from me. So I went to Turl in 2019 when the bus almost ran me over, closed the door real quick, and then pretended like he didn't see me. So I started beating on the door because they always treat me like that. And then I almost fell up under the bus. I was beating on the door and lost my balance and almost fell up under the bus. So when I went to go report that, Lindsay, who had been terrorizing me trying to catch the bus and was responsible for multiple false arrests, interrupted that because the police department's behind it. He didn't want to incriminate the civilians that they enlisted. So he arrested me, and then in the corruption, they hauled me off to Turl State Hospital. So they said that they couldn't find my card and wouldn't give me my card. I watched people ordering food, and they wouldn't give me my card. So then, when I finally was released, she kept my card. This is just how I'm violated and degraded. They're supposed to give you the property. They wanted to ensure that I wouldn't. They wanted to control where I was going, and they wanted to make sure I went to the bridge. The bridge would not let me stay there. They had set up for me to go to the bridge, but multiple different locations were scheming to keep me homeless and on the streets. So I said, I want my card. She would not give it to me, and she was playing with it in her hand the whole time. Well, that woman had access that mistreated me at my hospital stay to my credit card. You can't do that, but they don't care. So she had my card, playing with it, showing off, trying to let me see who was in control. So I got. They said they had me set up for the bridge. I got to the bridge and they wouldn't let me in. So I eventually was forced to go to Austin Street on my own, and thank goodness they let me in. Yes.
Okay, apologies for the wait. Okay, we are getting those resolution letters for the minuses that you filed sent over to you right now, okay?
Okay, what was the lady's name that I spoke with?
Let me see. Because I don't believe it was through anybody in this office. I think it was through someone named Carol.
What's her last
Does
name?
that sound familiar?
If you have the resolution
Williamson?
letters, it should be on them.
I said Williamson?
No.
No? Okay. Well, the resolution letters, they're getting sent to you.
I'd like to know who I spoke with, the patient advocate or the patient relations person.
Let me see. That's what I'm trying to look for you.
I can eventually find it in my documentation, but if you have my case pulled up and you have letters, why would they defraud information and put another name on it?
No, they're not putting other names. It's that they go through different management and
I
things.
wanted to know the person that was supposed to be doing the
Correct.
investigation, the initial person I reported to. That shouldn't be that difficult to find. But there's a pattern of people trying to hide and cover up. So I'm deliberately trying to make sure that I have the right name so that party could be held accountable for all the madness I was reporting to them and nothing was repetitively done. Put in high supervision or high make high risk, and I'm not wasn't a high risk individual.
Well, and nobody with patient experience, we don't have the access to make you a high risk. We purely report.
I'm just explaining a lot of abuse that I
Right.
endured
Yeah, of
there.
course.
Security's not normally called when you need to speak with a social worker, but I've had to endure that a long time. Even there, I'm just trying to expose that a victim's advocate saying that she's going to meet with me and never did, and played games months with me begging to speak with her, and I never did. And police come and supervise the madness there. So the same police that forced me to leave without my clothes was there monitoring the experience there. And then another time I was at another location trying to report crimes that got how I was detained at one safe place. They cut the phone off while I was talking. They did that in multiple different locations. And there was nothing I could do. Everyone else was able to use the phone, but all these different locations they unplugged the phone. And these are pay phones that they cut off while I'm talking. They did it at Terrell and they did it at JPS and at Parkland. Parkland, they took the phone out my room. And at one Dallas Behavioral, they unplugged the phone when I was talking. Terrified. And then they banned me from using the phone for trying to get anything done about the abuse I have to endure. I was calling, checking on my case, trying to check up what was going on with my daughter. And like I said, they unplugged the phone at a multiple different locations or interrupted the call.
Right, of course. I hear you.
We
So
still
when I'm
haven't
looking
spoke on
on
who
the
that lady is.
resolution numbers, it has, I don't have that name because I can't really dig that far into it. What I'm
That
seeing on
doesn't
the
make sense,
resolution
ma'am.
letters is our
The person they
director
shouldn't
and
change
Stacy
names on the
Brown.
documentation. That does not make sense. It sounds
No, I
like
didn't. I
cover
didn't
up.
say that they changed names. No,
Okay, well, if
nobody.
I was dealing with a person and wrote multiple letters to one person, why would somebody else respond? That doesn't make
Well, the
sense.
person, right, and what I'm seeing is RTE and Miss Carol
I,
Williamson writing back. That's what
okay,
I'm saying. And she's the director over like all of the behavioral health inpatients. So I wonder if she's the one that put it in
well,
because that's what it's showing me.
okay, are there any other names?
What I'm seeing is also our director. She's the one that's signing everything is Bailey.
Okay, no,
And
it
that's
was
on
another
the
name.
resolutions. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's why this party didn't respond and was covering up for everything. Maybe it wasn't a real person. Because I don't understand why I would write multiple different letters, like 40, 50 complaints, because I would get violated that often and nothing was done. They gave me a roll with something on it. And then I said, I don't want this roll. Well, then they said, you're not going to eat. So I did a complaint, and then eventually they gave me a roll. But why would they force me to eat a roll that had some kind of substance that none of us knew what was on it? But this is a pattern for me. I had in jail, I had bugs in my food, dental floss and rocks. They lost my clothes in one location, then lost my credit card, and they let me sit on that.
Right. I'm really sorry about that. But so we sent you the resolution letters, okay?
But I want
About
to know who
all
the
of the.
lady's name so she can have accountability. Who I wrote to that did not respond in a timely manner. They told me it was 3 months and not 28 days.
Right, and through this office, it's 28 days, and it's usually through the phone and things. So that's, that's what I'm telling you. I'm not entirely sure.
I'll go through my records and put it in the descriptions, and so that person can have accountability because I can't think of their name.
Okay. All right, well, we got those sent to you, okay, Ms. Clark, and they should be in your email that you provided for me.
Okay. So, how many was it that you saw?
4.
4 resolutions letters. How many
Yes,
complaints?
ma'am. 4.
No, there were like 30 or 40 complaints.
Right. So
When I
what we
reported
haven't.
it escalated when the credit card and my clothes came up stolen. I complained that they lied on me and gave me a shot to punish me. Each time that I would report staff misconduct, they'd increase my medication, blame me for it. I was in a high risk environment and nothing that I was being violated. They did not. They didn't give me therapy. They lied about therapy, and they're doing it now at all locations I'm at. They lied and said they don't give therapy in a mental hospital. They play games with medicine and then blame me for all of the misconduct. It was like 30 or 40 letters almost every other day I was getting violated.
So, but what I'm telling you through this, the patient experience office, we just have 4, and it's possible that, if things like that happened at the jail and things, you might have grievances with them as well.
Oh, I'm not being heard. I reported that staff was trying to steal clothes and a credit card, which is extreme, and I've had to endure that pattern for years. I reported that when I reported the credit card and when I would get punished for doing reports, and they lie on me, give me shots, or increase my medication to punish me for revealing crimes. I was at a high risk environment, and I were people that assaulted people, and that happens in jail, and I didn't do anything to assault anyone. I was the one getting violated of mistreatment and getting yelled at by staff.
Right, and like I said, so some of those things like you're explaining to me happen at other locations.
I'm speaking of JPS. I'm just trying to show you a pattern. This is where I call years. All places are covering for crimes. I don't know why you're not concerned. Staff tried to steal property from me and then got away with stealing new clothes and shoes in the past at this very location. Then tried to steal clothes again until they found I broke it down and to each hospital location and avenue where people stole from me. Then they went ahead and found my merchandise. Well, my um belongings. So I'm exposing what I experienced at JPS, how they denied me social worker assistance. Other people were getting help and direction, and they wanted me to sit and not know what was going on with me. I said, where am I going? And they wouldn't tell me. They wanted me to sit and not knowing if I was going to have a place to go at my release. And one lady from Salvation Army was there at that location. A lady that was abusive at Dallas Behavior was there. I don't know what's going on with these workers, why people that abused me at other hospitals or locations were now at this location. Her name was Elizabeth. I did a complaint on that. Elizabeth was very abusive and mistreated me a little bit until I did the complaint at JPS. And then another lady I did a complaint on that was sabotaging assistance that also did it at Salvation Army. She claimed that I didn't get the services at Salvation Army. They were about to give it to me, but I got detained on false pretenses. So she was withholding.
Like the Salvation Army,
I'm not being heard. I don't understand why a lady from the Salvation Army was at JPS. The same one that sabotaged services, that Salvation Army also sabotaged services at JPS and then called security when I asked for help. I don't understand why Elizabeth lied and said she wasn't at Dallas Behavioral, and she was. Is someone enlisting their own staff in my environments? Why have in multiple different hospital stays have gang stalkers like I reported at Dallas Behavioral, and the police department covered for it and threatened a criminal trespass for me reporting multiple different people that have stalked me in the past or at these hospital stays, threatening and terrorizing me. It was on camera footage at Dallas Behavioral. Why did Elizabeth lie and say she wasn't at Dallas Behavioral? She terrorized me at Dallas Behavioral. I think she was one of the people that came in there and gave me the shot when this man was degrading me at a support group. And I just left because I was there on false pretenses. They came in, threw me down on the bed, and gave me a shot. You don't have to be at the support groups. He wanted me to be there and be degraded by him. I did nothing to him. He just was tormenting me. So I don't think that I'm being heard. I just don't understand why 2 abusive people at other locations were there and why one lied about it.
I wouldn't know why. I mean, unless they ended their employment there and were hired here. Otherwise, they most likely wouldn't be there, and I'm not entirely sure of the situation.
I did a complaint on it.
Right. So the resolution letter should be sent to you. We sent them to your email.
What did the resolution say? Did they do anything about the misconduct, or did they cover for it?
So the resolution letters, they're in your email.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me check it out so I can see if they're covering up for it or what they've done. 1 moment. Thank you for taking the time out to express your concerns as communicated on 124. 124? No, I communicated. I wasn't there on 123-24. This is what in the world? I didn't do a complaint on 123-24. What is that about? Hello?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I am still here. So I had one of the officers who helped with the grievances. He's the one that sent them to you
Hold on, one moment.
through the office. Okay.
One moment. Okay, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the volume went down and I couldn't hear you on its own.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
one moment. Let me go back to the letter. Okay, you said one of the officers did this?
No, ma'am. No, the officers, they don't work in our office.
I don't understand what 124-2024 is about.
Okay. Just one moment.
We've already discussed the dates in June. Thefts,
Right.
misconduct,
And so that's there as well.
blatant lies, oppression by staff.
So that is, those resolution there are there. They're attached.
Okay. Can you go over the resolutions? Because, okay, are you saying that they did the resolution in January for what happened in June?
No, so there are other resolution letters. They're attached with the second PDF on the email.
My phone's malfunctioning. I just pulled it up and it
Okay.
just went away. Just one moment. Let me try to get it again. We were unable to verify the events as you described. However, we did make the appropriate leaders aware of concerns and how the experience made you feel. Okay, so blatant lies by multiple different staff, putting blatant lies in the records, trying to help. See, Terrell State Hospital tried to sneak in there for me to make my sister power of attorney. My sister's controlled, and you guys tried to do it too. If someone is abusing this much power to have hospitals conspire with abuse and criminal activity, something should have been done a long time ago. So I don't understand why JPS wanted me to sign over my rights to my sister, who has been psychologically abusive and conspired with detaining me on false pretenses. Why were people trying to hide and underhandedly get me to do that?
Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I have no idea about that
Okay,
situation or
well,
why they
I
were
don't
asking you
understand
to.
why, if so, they were trying to steal merchandise from my property, why that would not be anything warranted for them to steal my property prior. I believe that was February 9th. I was there and was released. I can't remember. I think February 20 something. And that it's on camera footage. Why would they let police force me out without my property?
So I don't have access to the
Well, you
cameras.
just said it was okay. That you
No,
what was
I didn't say it was okay.
well the paperwork saying that they were unable. Let me go back to it. They were unable to verify the events. How? And there's camera footage.
So that I'm not part of the investigation team. Will you give me just one moment? I'm gonna put you on hold real quick. I'm gonna just talk to my supervisor.
So each time I did a complaint, they punished me with medication, and they do this at all hospital stays. And I started documenting each time I did a complaint and how up my medicine was. I was given a higher dose amount of medication each time I did a complaint, and I kept a log of it, and I reported it. So it showed that I was getting punished each time I exposed abuse. Here it says it. Documentation indicates, it's hard because I'm reading through another device, indicates there were multiple medication changes to address each of your concerns. After these changes, you denied breast tenderness of breast milk production. So what happened was, um, my breast would hurt because this medication can make a person have breast milk, form breast milk, and I did, and she wouldn't change my medication, so they're covering for it. So I did a complaint on how she was forcing me to take medication that was problematic in malice, I believe. When I did a complaint, then she finally changed it. That wasn't. I want to address stolen property and thefts, but that's not in the complaint. So they love gaslighting. Thank you for to express your concerns. Communicated on 1/24/2024. Your concerns were reviewed. The medical staff and medical leadership were discussed with the provider address. Documentation indicates on 1/23/24 you were seen in the emergency department, and after lab work and receiving fluids, you were deemed stable for discharge. Okay, so they're gaslighting me. The provider informed you to return to the ED with worsening symptoms. You were also given an appointment to follow up with neurology, which you canceled. No, that didn't happen. So they're trying to make it seem like I'm mentally ill. I was stable. You were deemed stable. I don't know if you can see it. That's a lawsuit for malpractice for them to repeatedly do this over and over with no consequences.
I'm the team lead for our office. How can I help you?
Antonio Crisco?
Antonia Crisco.
Okay.
Also, I do not permit you to record.
Ma'am, what are you talking about, ma'am?
Recording.
What are you talking about, ma'am? I don't know you.
Right. But I understand that you'd like to record our conversations, and I'm not giving you permission to do so.
Oh, who told you that, ma'am?
Ma'am, how can I help you?
Okay. Your representative said that I saw you on January 24th.
Which representative?
The one that, in the paperwork, let me go back to it. It said that I was deemed stable. She said that she sent 4 letters. I only got 2.
Okay. Are you talking about a complaint that you filed?
It says that I came in on January 23rd, 2024, and the emergency department, that didn't happen on January 23, 24. And I was stable. I get slandered a lot, stable for discharge. And I'm trying to establish a pattern of people falsifying information, and I have lawsuits. Maybe it's the wrong person. This is Keonia Clark, and it's a different address.
Okay. Well, I can look that up for you. Does it have a number on that?
A phone number for the patient?
No, the file number. On that letter, it should have a number that says 24 or 23 dash
2455. What I'm trying to establish, ma'am, is that there's a pattern of someone sabotaging all my environments, and people know me, and that shouldn't. And I've been trying to establish this pattern for 6 years, that they don't want me reporting crimes, but they're not supposed to know who I am. So my phone malfunctions, and then they set up counterfeit calls, knowing no one would ever believe my story. So I call people 6 years that already know me and are covering up for criminal activity, which makes them conspirators and felonies. I'm just trying to establish that, ma'am. No, that's not me. I stated that hospital staff were abusive, psychologically abusive, and punished me for reporting crimes, and played games to torment, setting up appointments with people that never came. So I'd wait and be on the edge of my seat trying to speak with someone, and then they no-showed. They claimed the victims I saw, they would call security on me for trying to speak with social workers, and the police was there one time monitoring it, the same one that forced me to leave with no shoes, without my clothes. No one would investigate why I repetitively keep having clothes stolen by hospitals.
So are you disagreeing with the letter you received, is what you're saying?
What was your name, ma'am?
Antonia Crisco.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a disconnect. The people on my phone think it's okay for police to steal clothes and entice people to steal credit cards. Those are criminal acts.
Okay, ma'am, how can I help you with your health care?
Health care? Yeah, I've been had to endure this 6 years. I wanted to talk about the complaints I did, and how staff was abusive, and how they put me in maximum security out of malice.
Okay, is that in Trinity Springs, or where is that?
Did you get my information? She didn't give you any of that, and I was on hold all that time?
No, ma'am, I was in a meeting and I came out of the meeting.
You were in a meeting, ma'am. You were in a meeting, and you were in your meeting that they told you that I record? And you were
Ma'am,
concentrating
how
on the
can I
recording?
help you? Because if you can't give me the information I need to help you, then I'm going to disconnect the call.
I don't have rights, ma'am. What would you like, ma'am? I'm trying to incriminate people. What would you like?
I would like to know what your name is, and you give me the number so I can look up what you're complaining about.
Yeah, because they gave me someone else's report and staying stable, and it wasn't even okay. My name is. Okay, you didn't know my name, but you know I record.
Ma'am, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just
I
trying
don't
to help
understand, ma'am, why I have repetitively have to endure
Okay,
this.
I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to transfer you to my office so that we can go in there and pull you out. Hold on, please.
You a lot I can't even tell. You would never ever believe what I go through. A lot I just cannot communicate. 50 minutes.
Okay, I have you pulled up now. I show that you had a complaint regarding the physician. Let me see what your complaint states. Patient states you presented AD with numbness in your hand and feet, memory loss, insomnia, and loss of appetite.
No, that's blatant lies. They falsify information and documents. I like to concentrate on the misconduct by staff, blatantly lying on me and upping their medication each time I did a complaint on how they lied and said that my clothes were missing and my credit card, and then let me sit in that to be terrified because I don't get law enforcement and I'm blacklisted from shelters. So if I don't have my card, that means I would be stuck out on the street. They let me sit in that. They said they set up appointment with a victim's advocate, and the victim's advocate never came, period. Then the social workers would sabotage assistance and start arguments. And I reported the misconduct, and they even called security. And then one time the police was there that forced me to leave without my clothes and new shoes, my new clothes and shoes and sweater that was like a coat. I reported that. I reported that how they were blatantly lying on me. Like when I reported the theft, they blatantly lied and said I was creating a disturbance and gave me a shot that knocked me out. And they would increase medication each time I did a complaint. And the psychologist would tell me that I was having delusions on real events, and then punish me and say that I need to be in the hospital when I reported misconduct. You have cameras. You can see staff arguing with me and mistreating me. And I did a diary where I correlated each report when I reported the theft, how I got a shot and slandered. Each time I did a report, I showed evidence where they increased medication, like I was being punished. I know this because it's been a pattern that I had to endure years. That's not realistic. So what? Who do you show was the advocate? Because it was like 40 something complaints, and they tried to force me. It was some kind of weird thing that was on my roll, and I said, "Can I please have another roll?" They said, "No. If you're hungry, eat it." And I said, "Why would you force me to eat this roll with whatever this is on it?" Well, this is a pattern that I had to endure years. Bugs, rocks, all kinds of things in my food, even at restaurants.
Even at restaurants?
Yes, but I'm speaking of JPS. Were the reports, yeah, at Zena's, they put so much black pepper in my food I couldn't eat, and then told me not to come back. That was one of my favorite restaurants. I was choking.
Okay, well, this is the only complaint I have for you. So, did you receive a letter? Are you not happy with that?
Well, on 30 or 40 complaints, I just don't understand why she didn't follow protocol and why you knew I would record, but you didn't know anything about the events and you didn't know my name yet.
Okay, so how can I help you?
Can you give me clarity on how you know I record and you didn't know my name? You don't want me to have clarity on that? Or are you hanging up? Because that's what people normally do. Please don't hang up. I'd like to get this situation resolved. Who told you I record?
Ma'am, I'm trying to help you with your health care. So you called, you had a complaint.
Right, I had like 30 or 40 complaints. I asked them why they were trying to get my sister. I'm not being heard. I wanted to know why JPS Hospital wanted me to sign my rights over to my sister, as well as Turtle State Hospital, and you did it underhandedly.
Okay, I can't answer those questions, ma'am. I can only answer what your complaint was.
Okay, well, I had like 30 or 40, and they had wrong. They only wanted to talk about the breast milk, how she wouldn't change my medication until I did a complaint.
With that, I don't have that complaint.
You don't have anything regarding the theft?
I don't have any complaint like that, ma'am. All I have is that you were upset the way you were treated, and that's how JPS treats patients who have insurance. You you want it to be seen again, treated appropriately, and you expect the bill to be adjusted. The bill was not adjusted because care was provided, and they did review your record.
Oh, they said that I
you
wanted the
received
meal
a
to be
letter?
adjusted when there
Yes,
was
ma'am.
something on my roll, and they were trying to tell me if I wanted it, if I wanted to eat it, if I wanted a roll,
Okay,
I'd
ma'am,
have to
I'm
eat
not going
that.
to go through the roll again because I don't know anything about that. I can
You
just
just said
address the
something about
complaint.
food. I don't understand why so
No,
many
ma'am.
people
I
contribute to
said the bill
psychological abuse.
adjusted.
The meal was adjusted.
Okay, ma'am. Is there anything I can help you with concerning the letter you received?
I don't understand what you're saying, ma'am. You said something about the meal was adjusted.
Okay. Bill. B-I-L-L.
Oh, the
Bill,
bill was
not meal.
adjusted.
You wanted it adjusted and they did not do that.
I wanted the bill
Because
adjusted.
that's what this complaint states.
Oh, because what they're trying to do, ma'am, is that they said that my bill was taken care of. Then at a multitude of locations, they create debt for me and corruption. So they're trying to
Okay,
use
ma'am.
this as an alibi. I did not say
Okay.
I wanted my bill to be adjusted, but they're trying to use that as cover on them defrauding me out of funds with this bill of $4,000. I'm
Okay,
just
ma'am.
trying to
So is there
expose a
anything else
lot of
I can help you
corruption.
with?
So when did they say something about the bill?
Ma'am, it was in the complaint you submitted.
Okay, where's the complaint at? On what date?
You filed a complaint in this office on 124.
No, ma'am. What name is that?
Kiana Clark.
How do you spell Kiana, ma'am?
Keyona.
Yes, you've forgotten my name multiple different times and the other representative. That's not me. That's a different address. I don't understand why you're not concerned about thefts from JPS
What's your date of birth, ma'am?
and why social workers calling security because someone wants services is acceptable.
42575?
My mother's maiden name.
Yes.
All this information is scammers. The way I just gave you. Okay, that's my third time going over it. I don't understand why these records all over the place keep disappearing because it's criminal to alter documents. And these are lawsuits for malpractice. For a doctor punishing me and upping my dose of medications when I report abuse. And that's what happened. So you guys lost all of that?
I don't have anything. Let me see if I can look it up.
Oh, okay. Because I had like a big stack, 40 something complaints.
Did you write them in, ma'am?
Yeah. They wouldn't give me the complaint form. I had to do it on a piece of paper. And they would never respond. They were covering up for the abuse I endured, like they do at all my environments. No one has answers on why I was placed in maximum security in jail and in hospitals. And why in the past was it stalkers in jail and in hospitals? No one would believe anything like that. But it had happened at Dallas Behavior and I recorded it. And the police wouldn't let me do a report and forced me to leave. That sure sounds like mental illness for someone to abuse that much power to put abusers off in hospitals and in jails.
Okay,
But
I do see under the 456 six complaints, but they were back in 2023.
that is correct. Do you see anything regarding the thefts that I reported and misconduct from social workers, them calling security because I want help? And do you see anything regarding me thinking it's strange that two different people that mistreated me at other locations were there at the hospital state and one lied about being at a Dallas Behavioral? Like someone setting up my environments? I don't know. I'm just telling you what happened. And then when the one from Salvation Army admitted she was from Salvation Army and said I didn't get services because I was detained on false
I don't know
pretenses.
anything about those.
It's in the complaints because I was trying to establish a pattern of controlled environments. It should be in the complaints. I reported all of that. I reported that blatant lies by staff and gave evidence of how they lied and how I kept repetitively being punished and given medication when I reported crimes and misconduct. And then nothing was done, period. I never was allowed to speak with the victim's advocate after having an appointment. And this bully police that was a bully was there. I didn't understand why police was hanging out at a mental hospital. Stalking's
Okay, so
criminal.
all these letters were sent to all these because they're already closed.
Oh, what happened? First hospital stay when I was at detained on false mental illness pretenses while they cut the phone off while I was trying to get clarity.
Okay, that stuff I can't help you with.
Well, that's a complaint of misconduct. Why would they cut the phone off? Why don't I have rights to use the phone at multiple different environments? Why would they have a stock in me calling, reporting crimes and getting the status of reports, and then cut the phone off while I'm talking? Now, they couldn't cut the phone off when anybody else was talking, and then tried to ban me from using the phone, period. That's patterns followed me a very long time, ma'am. I'm trying to get down to the bottom of things.
I'm into them.
You don't have any other complaints. What do you have complaints for then? I've been on the phone all this time to get nothing resolved, like, in fact, 6 years. What do you have complaints on, ma'am?
Okay, so multiple concerns regarding multiple medication changes.
Yeah, I was getting punished, and they increased my medication every time I did a complaint, and I showed evidence of it. I showed the dates that I did the complaint, and then after the complaint, I showed how my medication was increased. It's a form of gaslighting.
It says documentation indicated that there were multiple medication changes to address each of your concerns. After these changes, you denied breast tenderness and breast milk production.
Oh, they're falsifying information in reports. What happened was I told them I reported that she kept changing the medication, increasing it to punish me. Then she had me on medication that was not a good fit, and I told her that, and she would never change it. It caused me to have breast milk and tenderness in my breast, and that was a side effect. And she would not change it, and there was nothing that I can do for being trapped in this malice. And then after I did a complaint, they finally did change it. But we're not. Nothing's done regarding the thefts and my complaint of staff trying to steal my property. That's a pattern, and I was making sure I did multiple different reports on that and how long they let me sit and thinking my property was stolen. And I saw the police hanging out a lot of times when I was doing these complaints, like he was enforcing this criminal activity on civilians. I just didn't understand why police would hang out in the halls of a mental hospital while I'm doing complaints. Is that normal? You have cameras. So does the police hang out in the hall of a mental hospital?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm not in that part.
Okay, because they have security. What would the police be doing hanging out there?
I have no idea, ma'am.
The hospital I'm at. Well, I think the feds need to figure it out. I think maybe he was enlisting the civilians into abuse and criminal activity. I think that maybe why the social worker called security on me, because I was trying to get her help and never gave it to me.
So then I should have another complaint saying you are alleging harassment by staff, intentional blocking of your path. You allege your property was stolen. This was resolved because property and value was located on the unit with you.
Oh, you found that one? But the problem of it is they already got away with stealing my new shoes, coat, new outfit.
Okay, ma'am, so I can't do anything anymore with these complaints. Is there something else I can help you with?
Well, ma'am, I'm just trying to establish a pattern. Let me give you this. Keyana, Keyana, Clark, Clark, Peace, Peace. I just have to let people hang themselves. Look at yourself on the YouTube channel. And I just hope people get consequences for their actions. I don't know how you knew I recorded, but you didn't know my name. I don't know why my phone malfunctions before I get these abusive phone calls. Heck, spoofing calls is criminal. And for police to come enforce criminal activity and force me to leave when I report. This is vital information, ma'am. I don't know why all my calls are like this, ma'am. Spoofing calls is criminal and hard to prove. She hung up.